Hello, this is Killenberg. Today I'm reviewing Dragon Ball Evolution. For those that don't know, this is an adaptation of the manga Dragon Ball, written by Akira Toriyama. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that name. Now, the manga was adapted into two animes. The first one just simply known as Dragon Ball. The second one known as Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z is the more popular of the two. Like most people born in the 90s, I used to watch that growing up. I still occasionally watch it. In fact, I watch Dragon Ball Super too. Now, I consider myself a fan of Dragon Ball, but I wouldn't consider myself the biggest fan of it. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's review this movie. So the movie starts out with a narration, and we find out Lord Piccolo has been trapped. Until now, of course. It's King Piccolo. And for those who are confused by this is Piccolo's dad. And Piccolo is supposed to be a reincarnation of him as well. I noticed there's some confusion about this. Then they said Ozaru is Piccolo's disciple. For those that don't know, Ozaru is the name of that gorilla that the Saiyans turn into when they see the full moon. It's also known as the Great Ape. But that's not the point. It has no connection to King Piccolo at all. I don't get how they even made this mistake. Then we see Goku and Grandpa Gohan training. Now here's another thing I gotta clear up, because there's a confusion about this too. His son was named after his grandpa. And Grandpa Gohan was actually in the franchise first. But yeah, then Grandpa Gohan tells him the first to touch the ground loses. And he says prepare to eat dirt. Oh, and I think he has the power pole, but I'm not sure. It looks like the power pole, but I'm not sure with this movie. So of course, Goku loses because Grandpa Gohan uses his ki powers. And Goku uses the excuse he couldn't see it. And Grandpa Gohan tells him his normal senses are overrated. We found out today is Goku's 18th birthday, which I personally find odd, because the original Dragon Ball, Goku is a kid. So in this version, he's already an adult. And as many people point out, he goes to high school in this version. Before his birthday, Grandpa Gohan gives him the 4-star Dragon Ball. Now this is something they got right. Grandpa Gohan did give him the 4-star Dragon Ball. Then we see him at school, and he rode a motorcycle there, and these bullies who can drive already run his motorcycle over. They almost get in a fight with him. But when it's all said and done, we find out Chi-Chi is one of their girlfriends. She looks back at Goku, though. So in class, they're learning about the solar eclipse. We find out Goku has a crush on Chi-Chi. Yes, he has a crush on her. And he's like imagining her eating strawberries. But then the teacher calls on him. And he said his grandpa would say, watch out for the Nameks. And he says the Nameks are a race of aliens that nearly destroyed the world 2,000 years ago. This is something they got wrong. Piccolo was an exception. The Namekians are a peaceful race. Well, there's also the scene where King Piccolo drops this red energy, which I guess this kills the land around it. And we see Mai chasing this lady who has a daughter. For those that don't know who Mai is, she's Emperor Pilaf's henchwoman. She has no connection to King Piccolo at all. How do you screw this up? But yeah, the mom goes out of her hiding place and gives the Dragon Ball to Mai. And King Piccolo shows up, and then Mai points the gun at her, so I'm assuming she's dead. But to save some time, King Piccolo and Mai try to track down the Dragon Balls. Yeah, then there's this locker scene. Everyone probably knows about this scene, actually, because it was in the trailer. Chi-Chi's locker gets stuck. So then when no one except Chi-Chi's around, he uses his airbending, ki, to open the lockers. Chi-Chi notices, and then she follows him. Turns out she knows about ki, which is very interesting, because it doesn't seem like the writer of this movie did. And Goku is surprised by that. And she says just because her name is Chi-Chi doesn't mean she's stupid. And of course Goku tries, well, he says like the name's not normal, and he kind of embarrasses himself. So she invites him to her party. Later on, he goes to the party. Well, he's actually preparing for it in one scene. And there's a part where he puts his hair down, and it goes right back up. And we see Grandpa Gohan making like weird stuff. I think one thing is chicken feet. And since Goku is a high schooler, he leaves without telling his grandpa about the party at all. So at the party, these bullies confront him. This scene's actually awesome. Well, I thought it was awesome. See, they try to beat him up, but he dodges their attacks, which basically causes them to beat up each other. And then these two other bullies, one of them being Chi-Chi's boyfriend, get these rods. And he causes them to destroy their own car. While he's at the party, we found out Grandpa Gohan actually had a cake for him. And then Lord Piccolo shows up. And he attacks Gohan. And of course, he makes the house collapse. Still at the party, Goku tells Chi-Chi it's his birthday. She asks what happened to his parents, and he explains that Grandpa Gohan was going to tell him everything when he turned 18, which is today. So then he goes back to his house, and he finds Grandpa Gohan almost dead. Grandpa Gohan tells him to find Master Roshi. Then Bulma shows up, and for me this is when it all went downhill. Bulma thinks Goku stole her Dragon Ball. Now what I found weird about this, in the anime it was the other way around. Goku thought she stole his Dragon Ball, and Bulma actually knew what the Dragon Balls were, and explained to him what they were. Again, how do you mess this up? Oh, and Bulma doesn't even have blue hair in this. She has a blue streak. And I heard that the woman that played her actually wanted her to have completely blue hair, but they wouldn't let her. I don't know how true that is. Maybe someone can clarify that. But at least she does use a capsule, gets a vehicle. So then Goku meets Master Roshi. Of course, Master Roshi thinks he's an intruder at first. But yeah, Bulma tells him what's really going on. And we see them, like, start training. See, they're riding in a vehicle, but Goku, like, is carrying this heavy thing, which I guess is a reference to how he trained with a shell. I'm assuming that's what it is. But it's not even a shell, it's a bag. So in the desert, they end up meeting Yamcha. The only thing they got right was he's a thief. His voice is kind of similar, but I'd say that's about it. Well, I mean in the English dub. But for some reason, this dude reminds me of a surfer. And I know that's probably weird to hear, but yeah, he reminded me of a surfer. I mean, it's not just how he talks. Like, he has, like, dyed blonde hair. So then there's this part where I think they're in a volcano. There's lava. But they fight these creatures. Then after they kill them, they form a bridge. And actually, the funny part is I didn't even catch this. I didn't realize the bridge thing until another reviewer pointed it out. So then there's this part where Mai is fighting Chi-Chi in a tournament, and she uses this little knife to get her blood. And Goku asks what happened, and she said she's alright. As many of you are probably noticing, I probably went out of order by now. I'm pretty much just discussing the scenes now. But yeah, then there's this part where Goku has to light these torches with his ki. And he was going to use a candle to light one, and Chi-Chi tells him that's cheating. Oh, and I forgot to mention something. A lot of people point out how the ki in this is basically airbending. I kid you not. There's a part where Master Roshi actually refers to it as airbending. When I heard that, I actually had to check to see if the same director made The Last Airbender. It's surprisingly not. However, the guy that directed this directed Final Destination, James Wong. Not to be confused with James Wan. But yeah, then we find out this is an imposter Chi-Chi, and the real Chi-Chi fights the imposter. Goku steps in, but he accidentally hits the real Chi-Chi. Mai then attacks Goku and escapes and steals their 3 Dragon Balls. But it's all good because Roshi uses the Kamehameha to heal Goku. Yeah, you heard that right. He used the Kamehameha to heal Goku. So later on, Piccolo gathers the Dragon Balls to try to summon Shenlong. Okay, there's a lot confusing about this too. And honestly, this one's a little hard to clear up. In the manga, the dragon's name is Shenlong. Well, that's what I've read at least. I don't know Japanese, so I don't know what the original says. In the Japanese version of the anime, the dragon's name is Shenlong. I guess when Super came out, people were actually asking why his name was Shenlong. So I saw this video that was clearing that up. But anyway, his name is Shenron in the American version. In the Hero show, Piccolo tells Goku that he's actually Ozaru. He tells him he was sent to Earth as a baby to destroy the Earth. Piccolo tells him when the blood moon eclipses the sun, he'll turn into Ozaru once again. Well, I just don't know this movie. He turns into Ozaru when he sees the moon, well, the full moon. Where do you get this eclipse thing from? And if they changed it like this on purpose, why? Because all it did was make people mad. So then Goku turns into Ozaru. He kills Master Roshi, but Master Roshi's dying words inspired him to turn back. He uses the Kamehameha to defeat King Piccolo. So then they summon Shenlong, and Shenlong just looks like a regular dragon. I didn't like that. This might seem a little weird, but I like how he was snake-like in the manga and in the anime. For those that don't know, Toriyama got a lot of his inspiration from Chinese culture. Most notably the story Journey to the West. But in Chinese culture, dragons are snake-like. Take a guess who he wishes back. A lot of you who haven't seen the movie are probably thinking, oh, well, obviously he brought back Grandpa Gohan since Grandpa Gohan raised him. Well, you're wrong. He revives Master Roshi, a man he just met. And I know you could use the excuse that he didn't revive Grandpa Gohan in the anime, but he didn't know about the Dragon Balls when Grandpa Gohan died. And Grandpa Gohan actually decided to stay dead later on. I mean, he knew about his Dragon Ball, but he didn't know what the Dragon Balls did or anything. So everything fine again. Goku meets up with Chi-Chi and they spar to see who is better. Now this might shock some people. This movie has a post-credit scene. In the post-credit scene we see Mai cooking something. And then she goes into this room and we see King Piccolo in bed. I think the thing she was cooking had something to do with helping him, but yeah, so we know King Piccolo is still alive. And that's the end of this movie. Now my final thoughts. It was bad. Now, I do think if this wasn't called Dragon Ball, it might be a good movie. Not a great movie, a good movie. But since it was called Dragon Ball, it's a terrible movie. In fact, this made Toriyama so mad, this actually inspired him to start making the franchise again. And I kid you not, the writer of this movie actually apologized for it. I think his name is Ben Ramsey. Yeah, Ben Ramsey. And he actually admitted that this was just for money. Now, what's interesting is Stephen Chow, sorry if I mispronounced that name, he was actually going to direct this movie. And interestingly, he's actually a fan of Dragon Ball. He declined to direct it, but decided to produce it instead. And he actually produced a movie that was based on the story that Dragon Ball is based on, Journey to the West. Now it makes me wonder, what if he did direct it? Would it have been better? Oh, and one thing I also forgot to mention, Krillin is not in this movie. I don't see why. Now, in this movie, Goku's supposed to be an outcast, so I think it'd be cool if Krillin was also an outcast and his best friend. Or maybe he could have just been someone he met. I just don't get why he wasn't in it. Now, if you like this movie, that's perfectly fine. I'm just saying I don't like it. I hope you enjoyed my review of Dragon Ball Evolution. Hope to see you guys again soon.